Sicker Than Others is a podcast on the ups and downs of recovery. This podcast does not reflect the views or opinions of Beta Shuva or any of its subsidiary businesses or partners. Sicker Than Others neither speaks for AA or recovery as a whole, but you'll find some useful links below if you want to find out more. Sicker Than Others touches on subjects and situations that some listeners may find offensive or, if you're lucky, triggering. You have been warned. What is it like to die?
You know, I always had this sort of like nonchalance towards death, but it's fucking terrifying. My experience was terrifying. I went from, I think after taking that hit, the only thing I can remember is thinking to myself for a split second, this tastes weird. And then I was like drowning in this icy water, and I could see myself from like below on a gurney inside an ambulance.
That's wild, dude.
And when they shocked me, I like flew back into my body, and I was like shaking a whole lot, and they kept on telling me to like hold on, I'm like, what's your name? And obviously they were telling me to like hold on to life, but in my head I was like, I'm holding on from not sinking back down into this water.
Whoa, that's heavy.
And I was holding on to the sides of the gurney so hard that my nails, even after I woke up 12 days later, were all covered in blood underneath them, because I'd like dug into them so hard that I ruined them. Yeah, it was terrifying. I thought maybe it would be nice, or maybe, you know, it'd be maybe it would be nice if I didn't overdose on fentanyl.
My guest today is Nomi. Nomi, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Dude, I'm excited to fucking have you here. I'm a big fan. Actually, when I first met you, I wasn't a big fan. I was like, this guy is way too intelligent. And when you come to rehab, you're always trying to like hold on to the shit you have, right? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a smart guy.
Yeah.
And then I met you and I was like, oh, fuck, this guy's a really smart guy. And then I think we bonded because we did trivia once, and we both did really well in the trivia.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was really
A lot of fun.
I think I won by 1 point, but
I think basically everyone that I know here hated me at first. Yeah, this program did a lot for me.
you were Zach's roommate as well, dude. Zach, dude,
Yeah.
I fucking miss that guy, dude. He's a great dude. Anyway, our get down here is real simple. I just want to know your story, man. I think you have a really interesting and dark story, dude, and you're doing so well as well now. I just like want to congratulate you on that. I think that's really important. And I like seeing my friends do fucking well. Like, I don't get sober to have a fucking normal life. I don't want to be normal. Like, I'm not doing all this fucking spiritual shit and calling my sponsor and fucking taking inventory and doing all this shit to like be normal. And you're one of the few people that I think gets that too. It's like, we have this springboard, this fucking opportunity to fucking do great shit, and you're doing great shit. And I really think that's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us, how did you fucking end up a drug addict?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've always felt like I was born a drug addict, you know, more than anything. You know, I think it kind of started off really early, but I've been like annoyed and pissed off and angry since I was a kid. Basically, yeah, I was born in India. I was born like opposite side of the planet. My mom was Jewish. My dad's, you know, a Hindu, like he's like a guru, like a Hindu guru.
Yeah.
So I spent my entire childhood being pulled into each religion. Kind of said fuck God from like you know, age 4 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I remember like early as hell, just like trying to find anything to escape myself and to get out of me. And kind of hating myself and not really fitting in, and you know, not having any real friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I you know, and that kind of kicked off, I think, the theme for most of my life. I realized when I was like 3 that I could lie about stuff, and I didn't have to tell the truth to my parents. And I think that ever since then, it kind of became like a web of lies. And yeah, I think I lost touch with who I was. But you know, growing up there, it's very different from here. We grew up in like this like little house on the beach. We had like monkeys jumping on our roof in the monsoon season, tiles breaking, termites in our walls.
So you're like Slumdog Millionaire.
Yeah,
India.
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
But
That's
it was a lot of fun. I mean, you know, there was like some crazy shit going on, and it's pretty unstructured. And you know, my dad was a bit abusive, and I had a lot of abuse going on, you know, in the family and stuff like that. But you know, not with my mom, but primarily with my dad. And you know, but I don't know. I feel like ever since I moved to America, I moved when I was 12.
That's
It's
a
just
difficult age as well,
it is, yeah,
because you've like got your foundation of like who you are already, and then boom, you're like,
yeah, yeah. Launched into here, yeah, and I got put into like a rich Jewish school, private school,
yeah,
and I came straight from India. I had this this thick Indian accent. I would talk like this all the time, and yeah, I got bullied. I got bullied every fucking
yeah,
day,
dude,
dude.
I
I
would
got
have
bullied
bullied you, dude.
nonstop.
Yeah, I'm
So
joking, man.
I lost my fucking no, dude. I get it. I lost my fucking accent
Yeah,
so quickly.
dude, crazy.
Um,
And was there any other Indian kids in your
no,
school?
no, not a
Dude,
single one.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
so
It was literally
brutal.
it was nothing but white Jewish kids.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Um,
Yeah, that's tough, dude. That
yeah,
sucks.
yeah, for
That
sure.
alone
Yeah,
sucks, dude.
yeah, yeah. It was a lot. So yeah, so I went from this like rich Jewish school in the valley, living with my grandparents, to
Mm.
moving in with my mom and and my stepdad, or was my stepdad at the time, in Westwood, and I went to Emerson Middle School there, and that one's like it went from like a rich Jewish school to like a public school, and that was also a crazy transition. I went from being around nothing but rich white people to being around like every race and having a lot of like shenanigans and stuff like that. And I think I fit in almost immediately
Yeah.
with like the other kids that also seemed a little odd. Um, yeah, I started acting up a whole lot. I would probably not. Yeah, I was just not the
Oh,
not the best behaved kid. I stopped really caring about school a whole lot, and I plagiarized a whole lot of stuff, and I cheated nonstop, and I didn't really pay attention to any of my work. Um, and I started hanging out with kids that I felt like were cool at the time.
yeah.
And that included, smoking weed for my first time when
Yeah.
I was when I was like 13 years old. And I remember, the first time I ever smoked, it was I didn't feel anything. I think I didn't inhale properly. But then we did it again right after school, and my dad my stepdad at the time he had cancer. He was going through cancer, and basically was at the end of his life. And
Mm.
my mom couldn't really pay much attention to me. I was bipolar and didn't really know about it. And I was really, really, really depressed. I had so much stress on my shoulders, no one to really talk to. And I smoked weed the first time, and like it was like for the first time in my entire life, like all the stress just lifted off me. And I felt like, holy shit, like here's a solution to my problems.
Oh yeah.
Like this is just, this is everything. I'm like floating now. Like I don't have all this weight to carry anymore.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just took off from there. I think, over the next few years, it's all pretty much a blur. I went kind of crazy. I did, a whole lot of stuff. I'd party all the time. I'd leave school. They had to call the cops, and my mom would call me to, let me know the cops contacted her and I should come home. We got into fights nonstop. I was, all over the place, and I stole tons of money from my family, from my mom, from my uncle,
Mm.
from his guests. Anything to keep up.
His guests.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I went over to my uncle's house for Shabbat, because he's a rabbi. So I went over to his house. He's a rabbi. He always has a bunch of guests over for Shabbat. So I went over, high as hell, and I snuck away from the dinner table, went upstairs, and went through one of his guests' suitcases,
Mm.
and found actually I distinctly remember finding $980 and being like, damn, why wasn't there 1,000? And the reason I got caught was because I left a 20 on the side of the suitcase, and they were like, oh, here's a 20 right here, and they figured it was probably me. But yeah, that was my life for quite a while. I think it eventually came to close from that incident. He basically cornered me, and they like made me confess that I stole and that I was doing a bunch of drugs, and
What
kind
drugs
of
were you doing?
off the rails. I was mostly smoking a ton of weed, but I did Xanax a couple times. I was drinking. I just this was like when I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I got sent to treatment for the first time when I was 15 and a half.
Where'd you go?
I went voluntarily. It's called Casa Pacifica.
Bro,
It
at
was
15, you didn't go
yeah,
anywhere
no,
voluntarily,
no,
did
no, no. I did.
Nah, they were like, this is
Yeah,
already
yeah,
good. You're like, all right,
yeah,
yeah. No,
yeah,
you went.
yeah,
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 your parents sent you to do
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah,
they did, yeah.
yeah.
But I was open to the idea. I wanted some sort of
Yeah, of
way out,
course.
Honestly, I went to this treatment center, and they didn't really talk about the drug problem a whole lot, or like
Mm.
addiction. They were just kind of like, like my stepdad had passed away at that point,
Right.
and like they were just kind of like, like you're just experiencing some
You're
mental health
just a
problems.
troubled kid who's just
Troubled
lost
kid.
his fucking stepdad.
Right, exactly,
Right.
right, yeah, and they put me on a bunch of meds. They put me on 300 milligrams of Seroquel, and I remember the first night I ever took it, I was like
Yeah.
in like this like living room area with all the different kids, and then I like woke up in my bed, and I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck happened? They're like, you like fell on the floor, and we had to carry you to your room.
We were talking about this last night. It was like my first time I went to treatment, 2015, and the shrink put me on all these antidepressants. They're
Yeah.
like, "You're depressed." I'm like, "No fucking shit, I'm depressed. I'm in rehab. I've lost my job. I don't want to be here. I'm in Palm Springs. It's 119 degrees, and you're like, oh, here's some
Yeah.
meds." Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, no shit. You were going through a lot.
Yeah.
You're fucking like, yeah. You probably. I don't. I'm not a doctor, but surely the right reaction is to be depressed,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? Isn't that like the fucking? Isn't that like just what happened?
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay.
Um,
How long was that treatment?
I think I was there, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months
Okay, so you were out of so what happened to school?
out of school. They
Oh,
they
wow,
they
I never
did they
thought
did
of that.
like semi classes there kinda, but it didn't really get me anywhere. So when I got out, I got put into this like this school called Westview, which is like for it's for people that have
Yeah,
mental challenges and stuff
yeah,
like that. So for me, it was like there's 3 different schools connected, but the one that I was in was for people that have like mood disorders and stuff like
okay,
that. So that was honestly it was kind of crazy, but like everyone there had a drug problem and was
yeah,
kind of crazy as well.
yeah.
And it was really entertaining because every single day, some sort of fight broke out, or someone jumped on the roof and tried to run off the side of it, or pulled a fire alarm, or shat in the urinal.
Yeah.
So that
Threw
was
a
that
chair at a
was yeah,
teacher, that kind of
absolutely,
stuff,
yeah.
yeah,
There was a one teacher, it was his first day on the job, and someone took a drumstick, and when he bent over,
Holy
and it
shit,
tore his pants, and he threw a chair across the class, left, and never came back, and the school got sued like fucking crazy.
that's crazy.
Yeah, our principal actually ended up embezzling a bunch of money, getting caught, and moving to South Africa
Oh.
with all the money. So yeah, it's a crazy school.
Did he get caught if he moved to does that
No, I
qualify as
mean,
being caught?
they
He just got found
found
out.
out about it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, it was during that time when I think I really found like my love for like stimulants.
Mm.
I got prescribed Adderall because of my
Yeah, sure.
ADHD or whatever, and I just started. I think within like the first month, I was taking like double or triple my dose, and then I started buying it from this fifth grader that was in the other school over. He had some, and I would buy them from him,
Mm.
Dexedrine, and I would
5th grade.
yeah. Well, he was in fifth grade. Yeah, yeah. But, I mean, dude, everyone there was medicated like crazy.
That's crazy.
They have this have this thing now. It's called Adzenys, and it's a orange chewable gummy,
Yeah.
and it's amphetamines for people ages 0 to 3.
Yeah, they medicate kids way too easy
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
this country.
Yeah,
It's fucking crazy. So you
yeah.
were buying Adderall?
Buying tons of Adderall. I would basically go home every single night and snort it all and play video games.
Oh, so you were really abusing it.
Yeah, yeah, really using it.
That's great.
Yeah, and I play video games all night long, pretend like I was sleeping, and then in the morning I would go to school with like no sleep all night,
Mhm.
and then sleep through periods 1, 2, and 3, and then finally kind of wake up at the end of the day and go home. I was failing out of all my classes. They let me test out of all of them eventually, but
Mm.
yeah, I mean my life was just kind of a mess, and I didn't really know what to do. Um, and this led up all the way until I managed to graduate, which was nice. But I eventually, I moved out of the house when I was 19. I moved away and got to go live on my own in Redondo Beach, and I think that's really where it started to kick off. A lot more. I stopped being able to afford all the Adderall, and I was already like experimenting with other stuff, psychedelics here and there. I was doing other research chemicals here and there, and I figured, like meth isn't that far off, to be fully honest. And my neighbor's uncle was a drug dealer and had a bunch, and I just started right there. And yeah, I mean, some of the some of the craziest and most dark time of my life was just basically just sitting in my room and like like doing meth all day and playing video games and masturbating nonstop. Like
Mhm.
that was just like my entire life. And I closed all the fucking windows. I wouldn't talk to my parents. Yeah,
Yeah.
my mom. I didn't really go outside a whole lot. I started doing a lot of fraud. I was running like this video game exploit company with a couple friends, and we started to install, like, I don't want to incriminate myself, but like we started to like install malware on people's computers and steal money from them, and it got really crazy. And I felt like shit about it, but I couldn't stop using.
Yeah.
Um, and
Meth will make you do some really dark
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I make you super paranoid too. I remember this one thing this escort once said to me, and it never it never left me. She said, just cause you're paranoid, she said, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you.
That's good.
Holy
That's
shit.
really good.
Yeah, it was crazy. So you were doing a lot of fraud. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's tricky. You never got caught for any of that?
No, you know, I never got like in any serious trouble for any of that. I got a notice from Royal Bank of Canada for some credit card fraud, but beyond that, not a ton. We eventually ended up shutting that down, and I got into like a real job. I moved into IT.
Mm-hmm.
I started working for this company in Van Nuys, um, and you know, at that point, you know, meth was less something to like party with and like just like do for fun. And it was more something I needed to
The
do
tool,
every
yeah.
single day. I couldn't, you know, if I stopped taking it, I'd fall asleep for 3 days at a time.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I started the schedule of like being up Monday through Friday, literally nonstop, not sleeping at all, and then I'd go to sleep on Friday night and wake up on Monday morning, and
Mm-hmm.
just repeat the cycle. I did that for a while until one weekend I ended up partying, and I didn't sleep for 7 days. And then on Monday, I was getting on the freeway, and there were like feds after me on the freeway, and there was like scanners and shit, and I thought there were like
Feds.
helicopters above.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I was hiding in different parking lots and like in the in and out parking lot, getting on the freeway, getting off the freeway. I finally made it to work, and I ran to the server room to go do more meth because you know I was gonna fall asleep, and I did fall asleep, and they found me like hours later, and they put me on like a performance improvement plan, and eventually fired me.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that's really where you
Did
know
they know it was meth?
I don't think they knew it was meth, but they knew that I was doing drugs for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I looked like shit. I'll show you a picture afterwards.
Yeah,
But
I remember doing that. It was funny you said that, but that whole staying up for 5 days, sleeping for 2, and how good was that first hit of meth on Monday
yeah,
morning
yeah,
after you've recovered your body? Like that whole chasing the dragon.
yeah,
I would love to. I wouldn't drink alcohol either to come down. Like, you know how like a lot of meth users will drink alcohol to come down?
yeah,
I wanted to fucking feel the
yeah.
crash, dude. And that whole going hard for 5 days, sleeping for 2, knowing that on Monday morning, that first bong rip of meth was gonna, it just fucking ignited the monster.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, dude, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Holy shit. But it was like, but that it's the cycle of it is
Yeah,
fucking crazy.
it is.
It's
It
crazy.
is.
And
Yeah,
like, we must have liked it or we wouldn't have kept fucking
yeah,
doing it for so long.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
I,
crazy.
honestly, I think that like the come down was a bit therapeutic for me.
Yeah,
You know, it was like
100%.
I like wouldn't feel anything for the entire week, and then I'd
Yeah.
stop
Oh,
and I'd
dude.
feel all my feelings all at once and just sit in my room and basically cry and go to bed.
Dude,
I
I would
like jerk
have,
off and cry.
yeah,
Yeah.
been there, been there. I would have a spreadsheet of lies that I had told that week that I'd have to keep up with, and then I would read it when I was coming down, knowing that
Jesus.
like I'm subset. Like when you're coming down off meth, right, and you know you've spent a week telling lies to people. Like I had
Yeah.
to track it. I built like this very complex Google Sheets tracker of like told my baby mama this, told my mum this, told my boss this, like this lie leads to this lie leads to this lie. And I would read it when I was coming down, and I
That's
would be
fucked up.
like, holy shit, this is
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
That the meth come downs are so brutal, dude.
That's
They're like
absurd.
the
Yeah.
worst feelings in the world. And we did it again. Monday morning, doing it again.
Yeah.
That's what's fucking crazy
Yeah.
about this shit.
Well, I mean, I knew it was bad when I like. There were days where I wanted to stop. There were days where like I was
Bro,
like, I'm tired of this. I
yeah.
want to stop, and I just couldn't.
Dude, I say this all the fucking time. It really bothers me. This is why I have so much compassion for fucking relapsers. Like I really do. I wanted to stop so many times. Like I genuinely, like hand on my heart, wanted to fucking stop. Like I wanted it in my bones to stop. Like really wanted it. And I just couldn't fucking do it. Just could not do it. And so the idea that you have a decision, my personal thing on recovery is I don't think you have a decision for when it's
No.
over. I think it's fucking over. You know, it's like, you know, when you have sex with a gorilla, you want to know when it's over? When the fucking gorilla says it's over,
Yeah.
right? Same deal with this shit. I just feel it's like you can be in recovery and you can surround yourself with sober people and you can go to meetings and you can do that. But until the fucking beast is done with you, I've wanted it so much, dude.
Yeah.
Lawyers, jails, rehabs, fucking whatever. Like there has been so many times where the consequences have been, they're outweighing everything, and I want it. Like I want it in my heart to stop. Like I fucking want it, and I just can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I really think it's, and I'm not the world's most spiritual person either. Like, obviously, I believe in God and stuff, but I think that's for me is where the program really works. Is that I have to believe that something ended my suffering, because I can tell you it wasn't fucking my decision.
Yeah.
Evidence shows me it was not my decision making.
Yeah.
At all.
Absolutely.
I had nothing to do with it. I just had some grace, dude. I had some fucking a period of grace, and something happened slowly. And I had no white light experience. My shit wasn't like, oh, I've arrived at Bechuva, I'm gonna be okay. Like, no fucking way. I felt, when I fucking got into treatment, I felt the same piece of shit I'd felt the last fucking 10 times I've fucking done this. I didn't feel any different. I felt no more resolve. I felt no more, this is gonna be it. I'm gonna be different this time. I really want, like, fuck no, dude. Just something happened, dude. Grace over time was the only thing that did it for me.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's crazy. So you came to treatment and then you got high again, right?
Yeah. So I eventually made it to Beit Shuva, and I don't think I was ready yet. I kind of I came here because I needed to, but there was other stuff going on. I stole a bunch of money from one of my best friend's neighbors, and he found out, and I was in the middle of a lawsuit there, and it was just like other stuff, and I didn't really know where to live, and I didn't have any more money anymore, and it was kind of like I should go to treatment. But I got here, and I don't know, I held on to all the arrogance and ego, and I just like, I still lied a whole lot, and I wasn't ready. So after 10 months of being here, yeah, I left, and I moved out of Torrance, and
Just some coffee.
no, all good. I moved out of Torrance, and
Lovely.
yeah, on during my move, I was moving a mattress into the house, and I sneezed, and I sneezed, and I heard something crack, and I like didn't really know what was going on, but it hurt really bad. So I stopped, and I eventually went to a chiropractor the next day, and he looked at me. He was like, "I'm not going to touch you. You need to go get some MRIs done, and get an X-ray done." And when they did that, they found like tumors all over my like inside the bones in my chest and my sternum and my spine. And doctors were like initially like pretty sure that I was they're pretty sure I had cancer. And I was getting tested for that, and I had a sponsor. But I didn't really work a program. I'd worked some steps, but I'd bullshitted all of them and like done like all the step work the night before.
Yeah.
I didn't have a commitment to a meeting. And I didn't know when to call. And when all that happened, the phone was way too heavy, and I started, they put me on muscle relaxers, and I started taking those, nonstop. And GABA, I was trying to like stack the GABA and like take like one here, and then another 30 minutes, take another one, and another hour, take another one, and like stack it all so I could get it, and I was fooling myself thinking that I wasn't already relapsed at that point. But, eventually, actually I came to Beit Shuva after I was pretty sure I had cancer, and, was hanging out here, and I was like on the phone with someone on FaceTime, and somebody yelled at me for like recording them, and I got really upset, and I yelled at them, and they kicked me out of Beit Shuva. They were like, "Hey man, you can't be here right now. It's after visiting hours." And I was like, "All right, like fuck it, I'm gonna go party downtown LA." So I went to like a mini rave, and I got inside, and I decided to have a drink, and I thought to myself, it's just a drink, and it's not a drug, and I'm a meth addict. I'm not an alcoholic. That same night, I like did a bunch of ketamine, smoked crack, drove a bunch of people to their house. I crashed my car, and yeah, and I spent the entire night at this dude's house, upstairs, smoking crack, and realizing that I was fucked. And the next day, I called my best friend, and I was like, "Hey, I fucked up. I smoked crack, and I'm downtown. Can you please come pick me up because my car's wrecked?" And he came and got me, and we then smoked crack together for the next half a day. I went to his house. I crashed on his couch and slept for a while. And then the next day, I told my sponsor, and he basically just said, like, I knew this was, he's like, "I'm not surprised. You don't call me. You're not working the program, but whenever you're ready, just let me know, and I'll step in." I told my mom that I had just drank alcohol. I didn't tell her that I used crack yet. And I went up there. I didn't use for another 3 days, and I came back down to go get my car and get it repaired. And I went right back to the house, and I smoked a bunch more crack. And I spent the next 2 weeks basically hanging out with random people, and smoking a bunch of crack and telling myself that it's fine because it's not meth and crack's not my drug. And yeah, I ended up in some fucking motel room in Alhambra, which is where that's my MO. I end up in some motel room, and
Hell yeah, dude.
yeah, just doing, I was doing, just smoking crack all day and cooking crack all day, and like only going out at night. And the fucking, the owner of the fucking the spot's walking out and looking at me. He's fucking hands behind his back. He's like, "What are you doing over there?" Like I'm fucking walking out of the motel room, and every fucking morning he comes to the room and he's like, "Hey, you need to leave, you need to leave," and I'm fucking passing money underneath the door so he'd go away.
Yeah.
And that was my life for 2 miserable weeks. I couldn't stop, and I would do more and more and more, and I couldn't stop. And eventually after 2 weeks of like hating it and wanting to stop and wanting nothing more to go back to the good way of life that I knew I could go back to, I picked up what I thought was crack, but was actually a crumb of like fentanyl. And I was not an opiate user, and I smoked it through my straight shooter with a blowtorch, about a gram and a half, like all in one hit. And
You died.
yeah, I died. Yeah, I died. Yeah,
Yeah.
the guy I was using with was out getting ice, and he came back and found me on the floor. I had like nasal hemorrhaging, so I lost about like a liter and a half of blood. And he was the only crackhead I think I know or whatever. I met him like 11 days prior. He
That's
Yeah, yeah.
20 years in crack
It
in
is, it
crack
is, yeah,
terms, dude.
yeah. We
That's
knew
like
everything about
yeah,
each other.
dude,
Yeah,
that's like yeah,
yeah.
that's a lifelong friendship
Yeah,
in crack years.
yeah, for sure. So yeah, he's the only crackhead I knew that didn't, grab all my shit and run.
Mm, that's great.
He sat down and gave me CPR. He gave me crackhead CPR for 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
Crackhead CPR, dude.
He called 911. He waited for them to get there, and they gave me another 27 minutes CPR. And yeah, I was out for 34 minutes. Heart stopped. They gave me 4 shots of Narcan.
Shots, not
Yeah,
yeah,
this and a shot.
and a shot, yeah.
And I remember waking up in the emergency room, like covered in blood, trying to like rip my shirt off and like freaking out and being unable to breathe because my chest, I had fractures in my chest, and I was just like,
Yeah.
and like begging for someone to like knock me out because I just couldn't do anything. And then I was in a coma for the next 12 days. I spent the next 12 days with tubes down my throat and in a coma. And for the first 3 days, my mom didn't know where I was. And she
Mm.
called my friends, and eventually one of my friends told her that I was somewhere in Alhambra after days of not being able to find me. And she called different hospitals and stuff like that. And she eventually checked our AT&T bill that I was still on, and found a phone call to 911 on there, and was able to track me down. And yeah, found me in the hospital. And that guy, Will, I don't even know where he is anymore. I had to cut off that connection, but he stayed with me every day for 3 days in the hospital room. He came to visit me every single day. And when my mom got there, he gave my mom all of my stuff, and explained what happened, and left. But yeah, over the course of those 12 days, a lot of people from the program from Beit Shuva, found out and came to visit me. And
Sarah came to visit you, right?
yeah, Sarah came.
Mm.
Sarah came to visit me. My girlfriend now, Erica, came to visit me. And I woke up after 12 days. I still had tubes down my throat for 23 days total. I was on life support. But during that time, I thought these people were coming to visit me in the first 12 days when I heard about it, to say hi and get better. But what I found out after I got out was that
Saying goodbye.
everyone was coming to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, the doctors,
Yeah.
the doctors all told my mom that I was dead. And,
Yeah.
they said I was brain dead, and if I wasn't brain dead, there's no way I could, live without oxygen again. And there was basically no hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, here I am. I can, and I feel amazing. So I got out, and my first call was Beit Shuva.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll fucking do it for you.
Yeah.
All right. Holy shit. What is it like to die?
You know, I always had this sort of like nonchalance towards death, but it's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
My experience was terrifying. I went from, I think after taking that hit, the only thing I can remember is thinking to myself for a split second, this tastes weird. And then I was like drowning in this icy water, and I could see myself from like below on a gurney inside an ambulance.
That's wild,
Um,
dude.
and when they shocked me, I like flew back into my body, and I was like shaking a whole lot, and they kept on telling me to like hold on, and like what's your name? And obviously they were telling me to like hold on to life, but in my head I was like I'm holding on from not sinking back down into this water.
Whoa,
Um,
that's heavy.
and I was holding on to the sides of the gurney so hard that my nails, even after I woke up 12 days later, were all covered in blood underneath them because I'd like dug into them so hard that I ruined them. Um, yeah, it was terrifying. I thought maybe it'd be nice, or maybe it'd be maybe it would be nice if I didn't overdose on fentanyl.
Do you have like some medical shit that you would do? Like, do you normal? I mean, do you like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, I
yeah,
can't imagine being knocked out and
yeah,
in
yeah,
ICU. You know what I mean? Like, I
for
wouldn't.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Like, it must have been.
So having a catheter in for a month was not great. But I think mentally, I think actually
Oh, in your willy.
yeah, yeah, in my willy, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
wow. That's not
that
good.
was horrible. That was about the worst thing. But
Are you
yeah,
awake when they pull it out?
yeah,
Holy
yeah. I was awake when
shit,
they pulled
that's
it out.
fucking
Yeah.
gnarly. That's
Um,
crazy. Yeah, that must have been crazy.
that was insane. And I was in a coma for so long. It's crazy during my coma. I'll tell you another time. But I when I woke up, I was in psychosis for most of it because I was coming off of all these different drugs they had me on. They had me on fentanyl and propofol and all this other stuff. I was coming off all that. I was in psychosis and kind of crazy. So they put me on a bunch of other medications again to get me to chill out. But I punched a nurse. That's one of the first things I did after waking up. Is I broke out of my restraints and I punched a nurse that tried to come and restrain me. So I feel pretty bad about that.
Have you
But yeah,
fucking made an amends for that yet?
no, I have not. I don't
Bro,
know.
get on that
I don't know what
shit,
his
dude.
name is. Yeah,
Doesn't matter,
yeah,
dude. Go
yeah,
to the fucking, you
yeah,
know what date you were
yeah,
there.
yeah.
You probably know what date it
Yeah,
happened.
I
You need
should
to
I
go
should
fucking do
I
that
should go back and make
tomorrow,
amends.
bro.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And film it
Yeah.
and bring it so we can cut it into the episode. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think I'm a little brain damaged,
Yeah.
little bit of brain damage in there, and
I mean, thank God it wasn't worse.
yeah, I mean a little bit. Honestly, I think it's good for me. I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm thinking a little bit less now,
Yeah.
which is I think it's always a good thing. I think
Yeah.
you can definitely overthink this a little bit too much.
Yeah.
You
I've
can't,
seen
yeah,
fucking stupid people get this shit first time and smart people die
yeah, over and over again.
over and over again.
Yeah.
It's just the fucking reality.
But yeah, I think yeah, I'm blessed. I was on oxygen for like 45 days after that. And actually, the night before I came to Vancouver was the night that I got off oxygen. I still wasn't totally 100% here. But I came in because I couldn't be on oxygen while at
That's
Vancouver.
crazy. And you were medically cleared as
Yeah,
well?
I mean,
That's wild.
I lied a little bit about being totally okay.
But you know what? That's honestly though, that says a lot about it. Even though I'm sure there's ethical things that aren't good about that, and probably a lot of liability stuff that's not good about that.
Yeah,
But it shows you that you were like how desperate
yeah,
you wanted to,
yeah.
you know.
And I came off the benzos they had me on cold.
Oof.
In like a week, I went from like taking like the max dose to nothing. I just stopped.
Wow.
And that was awful. I was like yelling at my mom and like, oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, this time I think I was humbled as shit. I think dying did that to me. And maybe that's where I had to go. But I for once started to actually listen to people and stop thinking that I was, the end all be all and knew everything. And
Yeah.
I cried and I let people in and I, was honest. And I let this community surround me and I let them love me and I let them support me. And I took advice. And yeah, my life's forever changed because of it.